Just going to do a little 2-minute clip, me playing guitar. I've just been noodling today and I thought I'd get my kind of old orange combo amp out. The clip is really nothing, it's just me noodling, but the clip is basically me trying something and I'm going to explain what I was trying. So as I say, I got my orange 35 watt RT, so I think it's Orange Crust 35 RT combo amp is the full name for it. It's a solid state 35 watt combo amp. The RT stands for the reverb that's on it. It's got rather good reverb on it. And it's a little solid state 35 watt combo amp from Orange, and it's rather good. Only cost me £200. Very cheap, it's punching above its weight, and I think it's like £230 now. If you think about inflation, that's the price now, but I got it for £200. I'll just tell you the settings I'm using. I'm using the dirty channel. I've got the dirty volume at just slightly over 4. I've got the dirty channel gain at halfway, which is none, straight up. I've got the treble in the middle and the bass all straight up as well. Really, this amp is really good for the money. It's not a review of the amp, I'm just setting up this audio clip you're going to hear. But it's got a tuner on it. The reverb on it's pretty damn good actually, it's really nice. It's got nice clean tones. But what you hear now, what you're going to hear is the dirty channel. It's got a headphone, which I'm recording it through, which doubles as a line out. So it's a simulated line out, so it's simulating an orange cabinet. On the back of the amp, it's got a send and return, which is a pretty good one as well. And it's also got a connection for a foot switch, which I don't have, but I may be able to use some other foot switch from some other amp. That might work, I've not tried it yet. So all in all, it's a shitload of stuff on it for a £200 amp. And it sounds rather good, it's definitely punching above its weight. So that's the setup for what I'm using amp-wise. Guitar-wise, I'm using an Epiphone / signature model, which is the Amber Burst one that I've already done a review on. I see my Duncan pickups in it now, but originally it came with the Epiphone, can't remember the name of it, but Epiphone Pro Plus, or Pro Plus Buckers or something they're called. So that's the guitar and amp I'm using. As I say, I'm going through the line out, which is also the headphone socket. I'm going into a Focusrite, and basically the Focusrite, you know, it's just your 2i2. It's nothing to write home about. It's a cheap one, and that's how we're recording it. And it's going into Reaper. What I'm going to show you now is what I've been kind of just trying out. Inside Reaper, I've got this Wall of Sound application, which you have to pay for, but I got it free because I bought some hardware. I bought a torpedo. I think for that, it's an attenuator plus it's like a load box type of thing, so I can't remember the full name, Torpedo Captor X or something, I'm not quite sure what you call it. But anyway, I bought that and you get Wall of Sound with it. It's the Torpedo Wall of Sound app. It's made by 2 Notes Audio Engineering, which I believe are a French company. Now, as I've already alluded to, I bought a Captor X from 2 Notes Audio Engineering, which is an attenuator and a load box and a DI. It's different things you can use it for. And the reason I bought it is because I wanted it, because I've got like 3 or 4 tube amps and I don't want to play them at I don't want to max them out because I live in a flat and they're very, very loud, and that way I can attenuate them. Also, I could do silent recording using the load box, etc, etc. I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, that's why I bought the product, and I got Torpedo Wall of Sound free with it, with 16 dynamic IRs that 2 Notes Audio Engineering make as well. Normally these things aren't free, but I got them with the product, as I said. So this is the app. I'm going to go into what kind of settings we're using for this little noodling track coming up. There's a power amp section because 2 Notes also simulate power amps. So they simulate a power amp section of a tube or valve amp, depending where you come from. You might call it tube, might call it valve. So they simulate that as well. So they do all sorts of audio engineering, as the name says. So I'm just going to go through the settings here. I've got the power amp on, as you can see here. I've got 6L6, so it's their simulation of 6L6 valves. I've got the volume at 15 dB, straight in the middle. Now this goes up to 30 dB, which would be the same as like a totally maxed out tube amp. So a very hot tube or a very hot valve. I'm going to call them tubes because that's what I call them. But I've got that right in the middle, 15 dB, so that'd be like a medium hot tube. I've got the presence, which is greyed out right now because I've already recorded this track, this noodling track. I've got the presence at 70%. I did record a track initially with the presence at 100, but it was too bright, so I put it down to 70, which is why it's greyed out now, but trust me, it's at 70%. Depth is 100%, which was default. Now, the miking I've got switched on as well. We're using a Dynamic 906. I don't know what type of mic that is, but that's what we're using. Now, they call the orange cab that they're trying to simulate, they're calling it a Tanger Fat just for copyright reasons, but basically it's an orange. It's an orange 4-speaker cabinet. And they can't call it that because orange might want to suit them, so that's what it is, but it sounds really good. As I say, Dynamic IR. DYNIRS. Now all these settings here are all default. Distance, centre, front. So that's the distance from the mic from the actual cabinet. So it's close mic'd. So all these are default. You can have a look here, but I've not changed anything. EQ I've got on as well, but I've actually got it set default, so everything's totally flat, so I've don't change that either. You could tweak these to your heart's delight and get a better tone, but I've not bothered. I've got exciter switched on, but it's actually not on because I've got everything at 0 here, as you can see. I don't even know what exciter does, but anyway, it's not on, but it's highlighted. Comp I've got switched off completely, so there's no compression on this track you're going to hear. There's also no reverb on it from this application, but I did have a little bit of reverb on the amp itself, so there is some reverb on the track. This thing here, it says Cab Library Browse La Boutique. This is the online 2 Notes online shop, basically, where you can buy dynamic IRs. As I said, I've already bought the Celestine Greenback IRs off them. Sound really good. Better than the Celestine the IRs that Celestine actually make that I've got as well. The IRs, the only thing about the dynamic IRs you buy from 2 Notes is you can only use it inside this app. You can't use it anywhere else. So the output I've got 0, so again, input and output I've not changed. I've not added volume or taken volume away. Just at the bottom here you can see, as I said, that it's basically stereo, so I'm using two amps. I've got them mic'd up exactly the same. You can make them up differently if you want as well. You can tweak this to your heart's delight, get the best tone possible. I've pretty much used defaults most of the time, and I've not really tried to deep dive into getting the best, dialing in the best tone, because that takes a long time and I just couldn't be arsed doing it. But I just wanted to show you this 2 Notes Torpedo Wall of sound in the cheap orange combo app. That's basically the whole point of this video. So right now, without any further ado, a 2 minutes doodling track. it.